I think that the advice I would give to other brides is first to think about the top 3 most important things about the day for you. So you're going to feel like everything is important. You're going to want to spend equal amount of time thinking and investing in all the parts, but unless you have an unlimited budget, you may not be able to do that. So pick your top 3 things, and then that can drive how you prioritize, what you focus on, what you spend on. The next thing I would absolutely advise brides to do is pick a planner, a good planner that understands your vision, that really, really wants you to have what it is that you're dreaming about. We had a fantastic planner. We couldn't have done it without them. MasterPlan events blew our minds. I wish that they could help us plan for this baby, because that's going to be new. So if they add that to their services, we'll be finding out. And I would say for any vendors you decide to choose, just make sure you surround yourself with people that you actually want there on your wedding day. They should be skilled, they should be professional, but they should also be people that you have a good vibe from, that you actually want to enjoy and spend this day with you, so that it's not something that you have to look back on and think, oh, this just made me feel uncomfortable.
And I would say on the wedding day, just try to take a chance to just take a moment to yourself. I know for me, I went to the bathroom in our hotel suite for maybe 20 minutes or so, and just to collect my thoughts. But I think that helped calm me down, and I don't know, it just kind of set the tone for my wedding, because it was pretty stress-free during that day. Like TT said, we had great planners, so that was awesome. But definitely take the time to kind of just collect your thoughts and just try to let yourself relax a little bit before getting to the mix of everything.
Okay, I would say my advice to brides and even grooms to be, or in the planning process, I guess, just don't forget to have fun, or don't stress out too much about even the planning process. I know it can get stressful and you have so many things pulling at you, vendors and family and friends, and trying to balance all of that. But try to enjoy the process, and especially on that day, definitely should not be worrying about anything. Just have fun. You've spent all this time putting the day together, and you've invited all these wonderful people, your family, your friends that you wanted to share the day with. So definitely just feel free that day and just have fun and go around and greet your family, your friends, and all.
I actually do agree. The advice I do have for grooms would be just don't get upset. Just enjoy that day. After all that money you spent, just go and have a blast. And so what we did was we actually hired MasterPlan events, and that made the whole situation really easier and smoother. So it'd be something I'd obviously want to do again the same way I did. I did not change a thing about that particular day.
For other couples, I would say make sure that you choose the kind of vendors that are right for you. It's very important to have a relationship with your vendors, and to make sure that they understand you and you understand them. Don't be afraid to ask questions. The most important one I would say is get MasterPlan on your team, because that is the difference between having a wedding and being a guest at your wedding. I felt like I was a guest at my wedding. I didn't have to worry about anything. I literally woke up the morning of, and I was part of my bridal party. I was part of the experience. Any hiccups that went on, if there were any, I don't know that there were any, but if there were, I definitely would never know about it. And they were really good with working with all the other vendors as well, building a relationship, and just making you feel special on your day. And I think that's very, very important, because sometimes you spend so much time worrying about what can go wrong. But as long as your husband shows up and you show up and MasterPlan is there and God is involved, you're going to have a perfect wedding, that's for sure.
And my advice for other couples would be to just try to enjoy your day. At the end of the day, it is your day. You've spent a lot of money. Make sure that you really take time to actually take in the moment. Basically to take a look, see how far you guys have actually come from when you started to the present time to you guys doing a wedding. My second advice would be for the groom. Be very, very, very patient and trust in the process. Basically, I think for the male, we don't start thinking about a wedding until basically after we actually propose. But for the female, this is something that they've been dreaming about, They've had numerous dreams about. They've had play arounds with their friends about how their wedding is gonna be. So for you, I mean, basically everything is coming at you so fast, but you have to really, really trust in the process. That's one thing that basically in the middle of our planning that I was able to do, and everything turned out great. My wife did a beautiful, beautiful job. I trusted her, and like she stated, the wedding planner makes all of the difference. For me, it truly did, because basically once MasterPlan came on board, I felt like a lot of stress was actually relieved off of me. Not that I was doing most of the work, but before they came on board, my wife was actually taking on a lot of the challenges, and I get to hear about it when I come home from work, which was not pretty. That's not what I wanted to do with my day when I came home from work. But once they came on board, everything just seemed so seamless. They did a great job. Shout out to MasterPlan. To this day, I really don't even know what all the details that actually surrounded our event. I don't, but I really don't even want to find out. Just keep it that way. But they did a great job. I didn't hear any complaints, and they did a beautiful job.